week on the OnStage Blog Theater podcast, we are diving into the world of community theater and what makes for a surefire hit and what is a little bit more risky. It's going to be fun. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the OnStage Blog Theater podcast. And we are so excited today because we are talking about community theater. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm theater critic Wagner and Jacklyn Collier is here.
I am so excited to be here chatting about one of my favorite things, community theater. It's where I got my start, and I have such a love for community theater.
Well, what got me thinking about this is I went to a wonderful production of Little Shop of Horrors. It's at the Empress Theater, which is a very unique theater. Just the setup of it is very unique, and I've had many, many wonderful experiences there. But this production of Little Shop of Horrors was definitely one of the best things that they've ever done. And I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? The last 4 times I've seen Little Shop, because I'm a weirdo and I see shows many, many, many times covering community theater, I walked out of being like, that was one of the best productions that this company's ever done. They nailed it. And if you had asked me as just a patron before I started reviewing community theater, I would have said, oh, that seems like a really weird, hard show. It seems like something that would be difficult for community theater to do. So I was thinking, why is it that Little Shop seems to bring out the best in so many community theater productions? And so I have I've come up with some hypotheses, and we'll talk about it. But it just got me thinking of what are the shows that I would recommend after seeing over 500 community theater productions? What are the shows that I think are really safe bets? And what are the shows that, approach with caution?
Warning.
Yes. And I've seen good and bad examples of all of these shows that I'm talking about. And I really wanted this to not be just like a list of my favorite shows, but really what I think, again, bring out the best in these community theater productions. I don't know, just in that, do you have any just initial thoughts about this idea?
Well, first of all, when you brought this idea up, I thought it was fascinating because you have really devoted so much time and energy and talent into not only seeing community theater, but writing about it in a really reflective, interesting, and supportive way. So I feel like you're an expert on this. And I find it fascinating because when I'm thinking about shows that would be good for community theater, it's not just knowing the community that you're in, but it's like, okay, how can I include as many people as possible? I like that idea, but also not bite off more than you can chew, but still give a challenge to people who can do it. So there's so many moving parts that when you said you wanted to do this, I was like, oh, we're going to have such a good time diving into this today.
And for the record, since the pandemic, I have seen 680 community theater productions.
680?
680, yeah. So almost 700.
Holy cannoli. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Most of those in Utah.
Well, and that's the incredible thing about Utah is that the Utah theater community is so vibrant and rich with talent, but also with just so many different productions. It's an embarrassment of riches. So you do get the opportunity to see a lot of different shows and a lot of the same shows multiple times, which is interesting data points for when you're talking about what works and what doesn't.
It's true. Well, and so I was thinking about it, and again, thinking about Little Shop. And I think that every community theater needs to kind of ask themselves the question, am I a primarily music company or am I primarily a dance company? And the thing I think that makes Little Shop work is that it has very little dancing.
Yeah.
And so the company can just lean into the performances. Obviously, the puppetry is a challenge. for Little Shop, but that is something that can also bring out their creative energies. That can
Yes.
It can inspire them and make them excited. And but there's really, aside from the urchins doing a little bit, there's not much choreography that's required. And I
Right.
think that it's maybe difficult to have performers who are both equally good at dancing and singing, right? And so if you're casting for good dance, sometimes the singing is not going to be that good. And if you're casting for good singing, sometimes the dancing isn't going to be that good. And so when you have a show that requires both to be good, it's very challenging.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point too about the urchins, because all you need for that is like, I mean, you could get as complicated as you want, or you can go with cute little step touches.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
know that we can find three women in the community that can do cute little step touches. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like that's
Yeah.
not going to be it. That's also about
Yeah. A
like
little
more,
jazz
it's
square. It'll be
little
fine.
jazz square, box step, like come
Yeah.
on. And I think that you also know for that that even that dance is more of like a personality
Yeah.
thing that you can pull it off. So yeah, I think that that's a really good point. And really for Little Shop, like, okay, you're gonna need Audrey to like really be able to sing the birds out of the trees. And same thing
Yeah.
for Seymour. But like the dentist doesn't really have to,
Yeah.
you
You're
know?
right.
Like,
Yeah.
so I think that you really open yourself up to being able to get um a big bunch of like character actors who can have fun with it.
That's a good point, that like even using this dichotomy of singing versus dancing, you actually don't really even need that good of singing,
No, no.
for because it is such a character piece.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
aside from Audrey, you need to nail. But even Seymour, I think, could be a
Yep.
sort of basic singer and not need to be like
I
amazing.
totally agree. I totally agree.
Yeah,
And I feel like you can usually find one, especially for women, one incredible singer in
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
community. You,
yeah,
like you, we all know who she is. Like you'll be able to
yeah.
find a couple actually.
Right.
Maybe the music teacher in town, like who knows?
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you'll be able to find an Audrey that can pull it off.
Yeah, yeah. So it's interesting. Well, let's dive into the list I came up with. And the first thing that I thought of was basically what I call surefire plays that people just like. People
Yes.
like these plays, and they're very approachable for community theaters to put on. And the main list of surefire plays, and then we'll talk about some other plays, but for this segment, See How They Run, Arsenic and Old Lace, Steel Magnolias, Silent Sky, and Harvey. I think all five of these plays they're just winners. People like being in them. People like watching them. I mean, I can't imagine that they're that expensive. I All of these are
Mhm.
old. Most of them are like pre 1960s old, except for Silent Sky and Steel Magnolias. But they're all pretty old. Silent Sky is the only one that's more recent. But
Right.
Silent Sky, I have my issues with it. I Some of the decisions that Lauren Gunnarsson made are very irritating to me. But it's all women except for one man, and so that makes it very easy or
Yes.
that makes it very approachable for community theater to do. And also, it's like an inspiring story. It's based on a true story. And so Silent Sky, that one is almost, it's a surefire. Yeah, people
Yes.
love that play. Harvey, hilarious, so fun. See How They Run. You do have to have a lot of men for that. That's the only downside, because you can't really do women because it's pastors
Right. So
and
it's a whole
so
thing. Yeah.
that's the only thing about it. But it is so funny, reliably funny. You can do it in a black box, no problem. And Arsenic and Old Lace, obviously need the two old ladies to be amazing, but that shouldn't be too hard. Find two retired women, that are up for it, and it's very funny. People people love it. You know, you can do it around Halloween, you can do it anytime during the year. But
Right.
Arsenic and Lace, Steel Magnolias, again, almost all, or all, not almost all women for Steel Magnolias. It's emotional, it's moving. I feel like it's something that can help develop talent, you
That's
know?
such a great way. That is such a great way to put it because we saw a fantastic production at Utah Shakespeare
Yeah.
Festival. And not only I loved about it too that like there was diversity in the cast. Like it wasn't like you have to necessarily cast all white people. There was diversity in the cast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think you could do that in any community theater if you have it. And also there's age diversity. So when you're talking
Yeah, that's a
about
good point.
yeah, so you're learning from you have, like your Anel and maybe your Shelby learning from like your Weezers and your Ma's. And I think that that's
Yeah.
really cool that you have it's it's women of different generations, which is
Yeah.
really incredible.
And it's emotional without being like traumatizing. You don't leave it
Totally.
being like, wow, I need a
Hmm.
week to recover and gonna have to write my journal. Like it's
Totally. Yeah. And it's so funny.
some
It makes you laugh
plays.
and cry.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think those are surefire hits plays that I think,
And
and I think sometimes it just makes sense for community theater to do a play. I know they get scared because they don't seem as profitable as musicals, but
yeah.
if you can nail them, I think it makes a lot of sense. It gives confidence to the audience that they're going to enjoy your plays, and also to your like staff of performers, to your ensemble, that they're going to be involved in good stuff.
That well, and Rachel, to your point, I think sometimes people think of plays as like there's going to be no way in for me. I'm not a play person. I like musicals because they're funny,
Yeah,
but all
yeah,
of these shows are very accessible. They are
yeah, they
very
are.
accessible, and I think that that is a way to like let people know, like, oh, musical theater is great, but you don't need that to enjoy your time at the theater.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Do you have any other, like, I know it's just off the top of your head, but that you would say
I
like surefire play?
I feel like it's interesting because the one that I always think of is arsenic and old lace. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that
uh-huh.
is just the one that that you can. I feel like a lot of community theaters also do a really good job with the best Christmas pageant ever.
Yeah, that would be a good one too. Yeah, and it's only a one act, and during the
One act.
holidays, people can just, yeah, it that one's very smart.
It,
Also, I think Wait Until Dark is
mhm,
also a very surefire hit. It has a very small cast,
yeah,
so you don't get to involve as many people as like a Steel Magnolias or a See How They Run or
right,
whatever,
right,
because it's basically just three people, in the
right,
well,
right,
four, including the little girl.
right.
So
Yeah,
yeah, not a huge cast. It'd be the only downside to that.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, but I think those are really solid. Like
Yeah,
trust me on this one. They're really solid.
you can't go wrong, people.
Yeah. Okay, some other ones that I thought of that I think are pretty good bets. Pride and Prejudice. So there's a great version that anybody can use by Melissa Leilani Larson. We have an interview with her on Stage Black Theater podcast that is just really well done. It's a great version, and at least here in Utah, like any company that puts it on, it is just sold out almost immediately. Centerpoint Legacy, they did it in their black box space, and the entire run sold out before opening weekend was over,
Stop.
sold out through, and this was during the
Wait, that's
holidays.
amazing.
During the holidays, they even added six additional shows, and they sold out almost immediately.
Wait, are
Because,
you serious?
yeah, I
That's
mean,
incredible.
people, of course, I mean, nobody needs me to tell them that Pride and Prejudice is popular, but it is. It's very popular,
Right, right, right,
and it's primarily women. Of course, you have to have a good Darcy,
right.
but the rest of the male roles are fairly minimal. Bingley, Mr. Bennett, but that's about it. Everything else is women. And
And
I
you
think,
can find your Darcy. There's one guy who can do
yeah,
it.
yeah, absolutely. And so you get the whole community to get excited about it because you've got all of these women who are excited to be in Jane Austen, excited to
Right.
be in Pride and Prejudice. They're sharing the word. They want their family, friends to come. And and so I think that this I could have also listed it in the Surefire segment. I
Right.
really
Right.
think
Yeah. Yeah.
that Pride and Prejudice makes a ton of sense. And there are companies like the Parker that I took you to. They every year they do a Jane Austen. It's become a tradition, which is really fun.
Which makes so much sense because I think that's beloved in the community. It's an
Yeah,
excellent piece to work on for actors, and
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
classic literature. So what
yeah.
great exposure for people.
And they Parker they do their own adaptations,
I love
which
that.
free 99, the best price because it's in the public domain. So you
Okay,
can
great.
do.
Go ahead.
Okay, a couple others. So it was an off-Broadway musical called Between the Lines. So now we're talking musicals. But there was
Oh,
this musical called Between the Lines that the Empress that I mentioned before, they did last year. I absolutely loved it. And I think it would be a great choice for community theater to do. The lead character is a young girl, teenage girl. And she basically it's she basically gets sort of lost in the world of her fairy tale book. Her parents are divorcing. She's very depressed. And so you have everything that's going on in the book and everything that's going on in her regular life. And the same actors play roles in both worlds.
that's cool. It's
So
kind of like Wizard of Oz with like it's in the dream where it's in Oz and then it's also
yeah,
in
so
Dorothy's
it
real life.
it provides like
That's
a
fun.
ton of opportunity for creativity in how you build up the fantasy world, how you
Mm.
do the real world. The songs I thought were really good. I think this is if we do an underrated musical, this would definitely be on my list. I
Yeah.
was very impressed by it, and I think that it is something that will bring out the best in a lot of companies and is very creative. And I thought the songs were very good. I particularly loved a song called Mr. Darcy and Me that
Oh,
the English teacher slash queen, she plays both, sings. This would be, if you're looking for, or if anybody listening is looking for a great female, like alto soprano audition piece, look at Mr. Darcy and Me. It is a great song and it would be a great audition song because it allows like a lot of like sass, but personality, would be able to show your character. And I think it would be unique when not everybody's doing. Anyway, it was the highlight of the show. If we do a best and worst, it would definitely be my best. But I was very impressed by it, and I just feel like it's a show that would bring out the best in community theater, and people
right.
should look into.
Well, and you know what? It's one of those things too that it's exciting when you get to expose a community to something that is unique and that they've never seen before.
Yeah, yeah. Next up on my list is actually Urinetown, which I just saw at a community theater called Terrace Plaza. And I'll be frank, Terrace Plaza sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge. They're trying their best, and I appreciate what they're doing, but it can be a little bit rough. So I was so impressed because I'd never seen Urinetown before, and I was very, very impressed with the quality of the singing and the quality of the production in general. And I feel like when some of these companies, these learning companies, as I like to call them, they do a little bit outside the box show, I feel like they get better auditions. This is just
Yes,
theory,
I
but
totally buy that.
this
I
was just
totally
like
buy that.
substantively better than what I've often seen at Terrace Plaza. Like just a lot better. And I feel like, okay, they must have gotten auditions. I'm sorry. Like I don't mean to be mean, but that's
No, but
just
you're like this brings people out. People want
yeah.
to
I
do it.
mean, I so we saw a production of Evil Dead the musical and at a company called Sanctuary, which sadly is they're defunct now, which is sad.
Oh wait,
But
Rachel, I didn't know that.
yeah, I know. They just, yeah, which is sad. But they it was way better than anything else I've ever seen there. Like way better. And and I just have to believe that because it was very unique for Salt Lake, it was very unique for this area, that they just got better auditions
Yeah,
because people
yeah.
wanted to be in this unique show. And so I feel that way about Urinetown. I I think that it's something that is weird and different and you can put
Mhm.
your stamp on, but people, the other thing too, I think with classic shows is that people have their, movie versions, they have they've seen it at here Hale Center Theater or Pioneer Theater Company or something like that. And so then when they go see it at community theater, they're like, oh, that wasn't that good. That wasn't as good as whatever.
Right, right.
And whereas something like Urinetown, I'd never seen it, right? So I didn't have
Right.
it. Even I didn't have anything to compare it to. I'd never seen
Yeah, you
Between
didn't
the
have any
Lines
preconceived
before.
notions.
I had nothing to compare it to, right?
Hmm.
And so I think that it makes sense on that level as well.
Yeah, I think that's really smart. And you're exactly right in saying you will have those people that come out to be like, well, you know what? I don't usually do community theater, but I really want to do Urinetown.
Yeah, right. And I think Urinetown is also a smart choice in this day and age because it so clearly says a lot without feeling like bang bang bang,
Totally.
like heavy handed. Like it
Hmm.
feels like, okay, we can have a discussion after this without feeling like I went to a political play or
Right,
musical.
exactly,
You know what I'm
exactly. And
saying?
it's just so funny and the music
And
is
it
so good
is.
and
Yeah.
it's sad and it like
Yeah.
there's so many things. It gives you a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Another one that I thought of that I also saw at Sanctuary, believe it or not, Avenue Q. Obviously, you have to have a more mature audience to be able
Mhm.
to do this. But I think that it's another one that will attract a wider range of people because you have the people that are interested in doing the puppetry, that's exciting for them. You can rent the puppets from different places, and it's funny. It's unique. I've only seen it one time. There's only been one company. I was looking on MTI, and there's nowhere within like uh you have to go a long way to find the closest. I think California is as I'd have to go to find a production of Avenue Q. And I don't know, I just feel like it's fresh, it's funny, it has something to say, and I think it'll get people excited about being in the production.
Yeah, I also think it's a show that is
I
very
feel like it's not.
subversive.
I feel like it's not that different than Little Shop.
Right, right, exactly.
And
Yes,
also, it
exactly.
wouldn't require none of the ones that I've mentioned. Maybe You're in Town a little bit more, really require a lot of dance,
Right, right.
kind of like
Yeah,
Little Shop.
kind of like Little Shop. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that people would be like, oh, this is edgy, this is fun, depending on what kind of community you're in.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that Avenue Q could work really well.
I wanted to put. I thought about putting Daddy Longlegs on this list. The only downside to that is it only has two people, so
Yeah.
you can't really
Yeah.
involve people as much. You can double cast this, and it's four people, but it is very, very, very crowd pleasing, and the songs are so good. It's everybody I know who's done it has sold out the whole run.
I think what's great about that too, like, yes, unfortunately, there's only two people in terms if you want to involve like a larger community. But if you are the kind of community theater that maybe you have two spaces or you have a large season, this could be a great
Yes,
opportunity to showcase two really incredible performers and then have everyone else working backstage or in marketing and, a wide array
it's a
of
good
jobs
idea.
in theater and
Yeah,
then do a bigger show.
it would be the perfect show for, yeah, like an interim type thing when you're getting everything ready for your big show.
Mhm.
Also for like a black box. Like Centerpoint did it, and they have their main stage and then they have their black box, and that's where they did the Daddy Longlegs, and it sold out the whole run. Yeah,
That's
it's
incredible, though, to know it's a surefire
yeah.
hit in that way.
Yeah. Next one I thought of is one that I actually think is a little boring. I don't love this show, but I think it fits for this topic is the Fantastics.
Yeah,
Okay, it
yeah.
has 5 in the main cast, 8 total and then you can have as big of an ensemble as you want. Like you can have as many or
Mm-hmm.
as few people as you want. It's literally made for a black box. It was designed for a black box. You do definitely doesn't require that much choreography. The songs are classic. And yeah, so I think that it might be a little harder to sell than some of these other ones that I mentioned, but I think it would be a good choice for community theater that's one that they can pull off.
Yeah, and actually, I think that an older crowd would actually really
Yeah,
appreciate Fantastic. So I think it might be harder to sell to a younger crowd, but because it was like one of the longest running
yeah,
off-Broadway shows, and I really think that you're right. I think that accessibility for maybe an older audience would be really great for this one.
yeah, yeah. A couple others that I thought of. If you are wanting to do a play, I actually think that this is a better choice for the same type of experience than the play that goes wrong. I think that the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged is a
I
better
love that
choice
play.
than
Yeah.
I have seen the play that goes wrong done well at community theater. Heritage did it, and it was really good. But there's so many working parts that make that challenging.
Yeah.
Plus, at least here
Yeah.
it's a little overdone. Actually, I think
Yeah.
people are getting a little.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the complete works of William Shakespeare Abridged. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but they
Yes.
combine all of his plays into this complete farce. It's ridiculous. It only has 3 performers, so another one that would be a good interim kind of a thing, but absolutely hilarious, and just I think one that would be a pretty easy sell.
Um, I think this is a great one, and I like how now I've seen that more companies are bringing women into the production
Yeah.
instead of it just being 3 guys. So I think that
Oh
this is
yeah,
a
that's
really,
true.
really fun one that there's such great banter. Um, it's just so much fun.
Yeah. In one version that I saw, they had a family, like a grandfather, a father, and a daughter playing the 3 roles, which was so
No,
fun. Yeah. That was a
that's
brilliant casting.
incredible. And
Yeah.
I like the generational thing of it.
Yeah.
Like, not
Yeah.
because they're related, that's a great, fun thing to do too. Like, that makes it even
Yeah.
better. But I actually think that works quite well with the piece too. That's really
Yeah.
fun.
That was at Pleasant Grove Players, which is a wonderful company.
That's
A
awesome.
couple others that I think would be good. I actually think Bye Bye Birdie, if you want classic, because I think that there's so many different things that you can do with it, it involves such a because there's songs for the adults, there's songs for the teens, there's songs for that you can have the scenes be as big or as small as you want, as it works, that
Yes,
you can have a ton of teens on the telephone hour. You can have a ton of
totally.
teens or for One Last Kiss, or and it has a lot of good solos that give people a chance to sort of shine. It's not just like
Yes,
two. It's not because some shows it's like only 2 characters have almost all the good songs, whereas this
exactly.
there's like a wide variety of characters that have solos. And so yeah, I think if you're thinking about traditional shows, I actually think Bobby Birdie is a pretty good one for community
I
theater to
also
do.
think that it is a show that while it's a musical and there's a lot of singing, you don't have to be an amazing singer. It's like, go and
Yeah,
steady, we're
that's true.
going
That's a good
steady.
point.
Like,
Yeah.
you can just have fun with it. And even like Conrad is just gonna be like, you gotta be sincere. Like, he doesn't have
Yeah.
to be amazing.
Right.
So, Ed Sullivan Show song, same thing. Like, I think you
Yeah.
would really not necessarily, you definitely don't need trained singers for this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very true. And I did it in high school, so I am biased.
It is such an adorable show, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Last one that I will mention, and then we'll talk about ones that I just are very risky to do. I think that Legally Blonde is such a smart choice for community theater to do because it's such a heartwarming story, really, when you think about it and how sweet Elle is, and her coming to her own, and recognize her strength by the end of it. It's just a lovely story. Plus, it's very funny. It's very romantic. It's mostly female roles, obviously, except for Emmett, Callahan, and
Right.
Warner. But pretty much the rest of the roles can all be done by, I guess the UPS guy. Um,
Oh,
but
well,
uh,
right, right.
but it's mostly female roles, and it's one that I actually don't think that I think you could easily do Legally Blonde and in a black box. Actually,
Yeah,
I don't
I
think
totally
that
agree.
it necessarily requires that much setting, that much, for it to work because it's just so well crafted. It's such a good show, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I also think it's a show that teenagers are really excited about. So if you want to do this like
Yeah,
during the summer when kids are off of school and they
yeah,
might even be able to rehearse during the day, this could be a
it's
really
true.
great production to bring in um really the youth community.
Yeah, because you can have them all be sorority sisters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'd be so fun.
You can have as many as you want. And you really, I mean, aside from Skip It, there aren't really that many uh there aren't that many choreography heavy
Right.
parts of
Right,
Legally
exactly.
Blonde.
Yeah,
That I mean, you can make it choreography heavy, but you don't have to.
but you don't have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was it. A couple others that I thought of is I think the Fiddler on the Roof, depending on, you have to be culturally sensitive, but it provides a lot of different solos and it's I think genuinely a really good experience for community
Hmm.
theater. And then Little Women, obviously mostly women. I think that it works. She Loves Me, I think is very crowd
Yeah.
pleasing and a lot of fun. So those are some that I thought of. As far as in worst shows for community theater, the absolute worst, in my opinion, and I love the show, is Rent. Rent is incredibly difficult for community theater to pull off. The maturity of the content, the the specific nature of casting the roles, right?
Mhm.
Like not anybody can play Angel. Like that is a very
Nope.
specific person who can play Angel. Not everybody can play Maureen. That's a very
Right.
specific person who can pull off that character and make it work and make it likable. The style of the songs is a belty style with a little bit of a rock and roll edge that I think is very difficult for community theater
Yep.
to pull off. It's hard for a professional company to pull off.
Oh,
That
absolutely. Yeah.
it's a show that's not going to be appealing to a lot of community theater audiences. So you definitely have to know your audience. And do you have an edgier audience? Do you have a, kind of a thing? And it's just a really, really hard show to pull off. Can you make Mark likable? That's kind of a little bit hard to do.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah.
can you
Yeah.
make Roger likable? That's a little bit hard to do, and his songs are incredibly difficult. Um, I don't know. It's just a very tough show. I can think of a harder show to do.
Yeah. It has to be handled, like you said, with a lot of sensitivity. And there is no way around them having to sing incredibly well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yes, yes.
There's just no way around it. And that's great for a production where you know that you can do a nationwide search if you're doing it on Broadway. Even most regional theaters pull people from all over the country. But when you're pulling from a small community, you may absolutely find someone who can sing Maureen. But to find people for every single role,
Yeah,
that's going to be tricky. That's going to be
yeah,
really, really tricky.
yeah, yeah. And it's been rough. Every time I see Red, one of these days I need to go to a professional staging of Red because it's been rough.
Even then,
Yeah,
tricky
even
show.
then, it's a hard
Tricky
show.
show. It's a lot.
Another one that I think is incredibly difficult, I've only seen it once, so maybe that has something to do, is How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. It is a male heavy show. The lead character is a male, and literally there's a whole song about the company way, about the men, and that men have to sing, so it's not like you can have women.
Right.
Um, it's hard dance wise. It requires a lot of um, dance experience. It's hard song wise. It's hard character wise. The characters aren't very likable, what they're doing.
Mhm.
I don't know. I didn't love the show, so maybe I'm biased, but and I saw a pretty good version of it, but I don't know. I think that one's very difficult to pull off.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've actually never seen How to Succeed, um, except for a production that was done by a grad school, like a mini version for a showcase. And even then, I was like, this isn't showcasing them the best that
Yeah,
something else
right?
could
Yeah,
showcase them.
yeah,
So it was an
yeah.
interesting thing.
Yep. Next up, I have a chorus line. And I think if you know that your people can pull off the dancing, that because it's literally about a dance audition, like they have to be good dancers. But then the thing is that it also requires really good singers. So
Yeah, yeah. And
it's
here's the
tough.
thing. It is it is not just a like say you are a really, really, really good mover, even a good
Yeah.
dancer. This is
Yes.
about a group of elite dancers.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
it is like I feel like if I'm even looking at some of my friends who have been on Broadway, most of them who are triple threats still wouldn't be able to do chorus line. Like
Yeah.
one or two could, because you
Yeah.
have to be an incredible dancer.
Yeah.
So
Also,
that's
there
tricky.
is like a certain amount of diversity in that show
Yep.
that you have to cast right. And you have to have somebody who can like pull off Paul's monologue, which is one of is I think it is the most moving
Yes.
monologue in musical theater history. It's incredibly great, but it's challenging. You have to be able to sell it. I have seen some good community theater productions of a chorus line. It can be done, but it's tough.
Yeah.
You have to, it's a hard one. Um,
Yeah.
Next I have, and I have seen quite a few pretty good versions of this community theater, but I have next to normal. Next, you have to have a group of actors who can really commit to this material.
Yeah.
That it's intense. It's and is your audience going to want to go to a very depressing experience? Like it is a sad musical.
Well, yes, absolutely. And there's a couple things here that I'm thinking about when you say next normal. Number one, it's very vocally challenging. So you have that.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Number two, acting wise, you have to be able to like it is the acting that you would need to do in a very serious play. Like it is not, it
Yeah.
is really now the thing it has going for it is instead of having to have like in chorus line, like, 12 people who can really, really dance, this is at least a little bit smaller that if you happen to have an amazing group of performers,
Yeah.
you can do it. So
Yeah, and
it's
it
not like,
doesn't
but it's hard.
yeah, and it doesn't require any dance. So, I mean, that
Right,
is good.
right.
But you just have to have like an honest conversation with yourself that do I have a group of actors who can really deliver this material? And I said this one I have seen quite a few times done well by community theater. So it can be done, but it's challenging. It's a hard one.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely challenging.
Yeah. Next up, I have American Idiot, and I'm actually seeing that this Saturday. So we'll see how they do at the Grand. And I'm excited for that. But I think that the style of the songs, the way that the story is I don't know, like I think that it's a challenging story to kind of sell and because there's like a lot of tough stuff like drug use and other things like
Yeah.
that. It's kind of similar to Rent in a lot of ways,
Right, right,
you know.
right.
It doesn't require the same diversity casting of Rent, but it's also less familiar than Rent. People don't know it as well. I think it'd be harder to sell tickets to. It'd be harder to. I think it'd be harder to get that same kind of like excited audition group
Right. Right.
for American Idiot compared to Rent. So yeah, I think that American Idiot. We'll see how they do on Saturday. Hope for the best, but I think it's a tough one.
You're like, cross
Fingers
those
crossed.
fingers.
Yeah.
I've actually never seen American Idiot. I'm curious about it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, a couple others. Dreamgirls, I think, is extremely hard. Not only do you need an amazing Effie to sell,
Mhm.
but the harmonies throughout really hard. It's a long show, and obviously it requires diversity casting, and
Yeah,
it's tough.
it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, you really do need to have people who are absolute powerhouses.
yeah, yeah. And like I said, and not only the good singers, but good at doing those harmonies.
Yep.
Yeah, which is not
Yeah.
everyone's skill. I think I could almost put almost any Sondheim in here that is challenging. I get it. Y'all want to do it. And so it's attractive on we want to make the actors happy, but can they pull it off? You have to do and I particularly think Sweeney Todd. If you're going to do Sweeney Todd, you need to do a super, super honest look at your talent pool. And are they going to be able to pull off these roles?
Yeah, that's very true. Because for Sweeney Todd, of course, you need the powerhouse leads. You need Sweeney
Yeah.
Todd. You need Mrs. Lovett. The orchestra is complex. It is just a very difficult score. And then also, I feel like what's interesting about Sweeney Todd is the tone of it can like really
Yeah.
collapse into feeling too campy if
Yeah.
you don't have actors that are really playing it well.
And this is why everybody does Into the Woods. And I understand that. And it is
And
the
it's
most,
Rachel's favorite.
yeah, it's my favorite. But I think that it's also deceptively difficult.
Yeah.
And that I think because it's fairy tales, it's whatever. I also think, remember when we had our episode on Into the Woods and Tony said that Into the Woods does not sell, that it is hard to sell tickets to Into the Woods. And
Yeah.
so you even just from a community theater, can we sell tickets to this production? You might want to really give it some thought.
You should think about it. Yep. And
It's a
if
lot
you
more
know that
popular
you're
with
like,
actors than it is with audiences.
yes. And
It
if
just
you
is.
know, say you have a community theater that you're able to have a really robust season. Say you're able to have 4 to 5 shows a year, and you know that 4 out of those 5 shows are huge sellers, and then you want to give a gift to your actors.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, have them do Into the Woods. Like actors will sink their teeth into it, but you better have a robust season that's going to keep the lights on for the rest of the time.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Okay, another one is Ghost, the musical. I've seen it a couple times now. It's not that great. It's not a great musical, and it's incredibly difficult to pull off. Just the songs and the staging and there is some diversity casting that obviously you have to get right. It's just, I would not recommend it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen Ghost one time. I saw the tour, and I remember thinking this was like the national tour, really great company, but I was like, ooh, woof. Like
Yeah, it's not great.
There's a lot. It's not like you've talked about before, and I completely agree. You're like, it's hard to mess up Steel Magnolias. Like,
Yeah.
great. You get that now. Ghost, it's like, okay.
There's so many ways to mess it up. Yeah.
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 It's that one. Okay, then next I have the Christmas Carol, the musical. Don't do the musical.
Musical.
The musical is just not good. The songs are not good. Just do the play. Like, and you can even do like your own adaptation. Like if there's somebody in your community that's a writer that wants a challenge, like that could be fun for them. Or I saw, it was very interesting this last season. I saw on Friday, I saw a very faith-oriented Christmas Carol adaptation. And then the next day, I saw a version, because it's public domain and we can do it. The
Right.
next day, I saw a version that that was very like. And the next day, I saw a version that was monopolizing on the ghost and the horror and making it really
Oh,
scary.
wow.
And
Yeah,
so they
yeah.
couldn't be more different. These two different
Different.
versions. And so that's what I would encourage because obviously it's a huge seller. Christmas Carol, big seller,
Right.
but you're just adding a ton of unnecessary difficulties doing the musical, and it's just not good, and it's more
No.
expensive. Don't do the musical.
Because Rachel, also to your point, like I think a lot of times why community theaters, yes, it's fun, sure, but do musicals to make it more accessible. A Christmas Carol is already going to sell
Yeah.
big and be accessible.
Yes.
It has all of that like pomp and circumstance you do not need
Yeah.
to be
And both
doing
of
the
those
musical.
versions sold out almost immediately. Sell
Yeah.
out. And I mean, Hale Center Theater here, they have like literally, I think five or six on Saturdays of Christmas Carol. Their Christmas Carol. Yeah.
That's incredible.
It just
That's
a one
incredible.
day. So
Just crank it out.
I understand why people are doing it. Just don't do the musical. It's just not good. It is not good.
Like, sorry.
Yeah, and there also is the Scrooge, which is the based on the movie, the Albert Finney movie. That's also not very good. It's better than the Mencken one, but just do the
But
play.
not.
Just
Yeah. Just
trust
do the
me.
play. It'll
Trust
sell.
me. And and then the last one that I have seen quite a few good versions of this, but I think it's harder than people maybe give it credit for. I would say Footloose.
Hmm.
Footloose, I think it's one of those movies, kind of like Dirty Dancing, that I think has a more vanilla reputation than it actually deserves. When you
Yeah.
watch the movie, you're like, whoa, it tackles a lot of like deep things and has some very, very like destructive
Mm.
behavior on the part of the teenage characters. And it dives into themes of faith um and sexual activity from
Hmm.
minors and teenagers, and just a lot of stuff that it's taking
Yeah.
on. And I think the songs are like reasonably difficult. They're not
Yeah.
as they're not easy. And you have to have good dancers. Yeah, I
Oh,
mean, it's
definitely.
literally a part of the the characters. It's all about dancing, so you have to have
Yes.
good dancers and good singers, and it's pretty heavy. So I think twice before doing Footloose. If you're thinking, okay, this is like a real crowd pleaser, I love the show. I really do. But I think you need to honestly think about your company and if you can pull it off.
Yeah, I think Rachel, to that point, thinking about your company and also thinking about your audience, that people are like, oh, they just think about gotta cut foot loose, foot loose.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not, they'll go see the show perhaps and maybe be like, what? That was
yeah,
too sad. That was too intense. That was too whatever. I'm not saying don't take those swings because I do believe that people should be exposed to things that sometimes make them a little bit uncomfortable.
yeah.
But thinking about that, I have one more to add.
Yes, please.
Miss Saigon.
Yeah,
There's a lot
yeah,
of technical demands. There's like the helicopter, these massive sets. Okay, forget about that. Even if you have to say we're not doing that. Really big vocal requirements. And
yeah,
also like it's expensive to do
yeah.
to get the rights
I'm
for it. And
sure.
finally, the you have to cast it. It's very sensitive with cultural casting issues. So
Yeah,
you have to make sure that you're casting it in a way that's appropriate. So it often feels like it's too big for the resources of most
yeah.
community theaters.
I've never seen it. I've never seen
It
Miss
is a
Saigon.
great show.
So
But yes, it's a great show, but blah,
yeah,
yeah,
definitely that is a good choice. Well,
yeah.
let us know what you think of this. What do you think are some surefire hits for community theater? And what do you think are some really risky choices? We'd love to hear your thoughts. And maybe you disagree with us. Maybe you think that some of the ones we mentioned are not in the categories that we placed it. We'd love to hear that in the comment section. So definitely make sure to check that out. And thanks so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
This was
And
so fun, Rachel. Awesome idea.
and make sure that you're following OnStage blog all over the place. And they have daily articles, really good stuff. You want to make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter and that you are reading these great articles. And I'll follow them all over social media. There's great discussion going on. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews all over the place, rachelsreviewstheater.com. Definitely check that out. And Jacklyn, where can people follow you?
Jacklyn Collier on Instagram.
Great. And so definitely give us your thoughts in the comments, and we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.